So when I found out Miss Clemens had breast cancer, it was just like, and so I saw the newspaper articles. I seen thousands of just people just praying over you and just knowing that you were going to beat it, and you did, and just your students. Like, I always wanted my daughter to be like, I wanted to go to your school so she could have you as a teacher, but we didn't live in the district. And so I remember the story, and I'm glad that you're here. She also gives the best hugs. There's a quick time when my husband and I, we were going through a lot, back-to-back miscarriages, and I'll never forget what you said to us. And she gave me the best hug ever, and I forgot the words that you said. It's going to be okay. You said something to me. Never give up. Never give up. And we were able to have 2 successful pregnancies. So thank you for that hug. Thank you for that time. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I'll never forget it. And we were at a down place during that time. You give the best hugs. So thank you so much for accepting. It was amazing. I always want to hear your testimony. So thank you again. Okay. Next speaker. Miss Metcalf. I don't know if you remember, a long time ago, she was our guest speaker at Full Gospel Assembly. And I said, I know the name. I remember the testimony. I remember her presentation. And so, like I said before, I was on vacation, and literally it was God sent, because you popped up on my Facebook post. We weren't Facebook friends, and I sent you a Facebook friend request, by the way. So I said, oh my goodness, like, this is like God sent, because that just appeared last week on my Facebook page. Your number was on there. So I'm so thankful that you accepted. It wasn't even a hesitation. And so many women have this journey, and they're afraid to tell their journey. And I don't want to say I know, because I don't know. But I'm so glad that you and Ms. Clemens were able to just, without hesitation, wanting to tell your testimony and your journey. And so without further ado, I will read Ms. Stacy L. Murray-Medcalf's bio. She resides in South Point, Ohio. She works as administrative assistant, part-time medical transcriptionist, and co-founder of the Calls Incorporated and the God Factory Ministries Incorporated. Stacy graduated with honors from Ohio University at the age of 33, with a bachelor's degree in psychology and sociology and an associate's degree of office technology. She is a patient advocate, American Cancer Society Reach to Recovery representative, independent columnist with featured columns in the Herald Dispatch, certified Christian mental health specialist, and published author. She is the host of God Factor Ministries Monday Night Facebook Live Weekly inspirational broadcast, founded by her late husband, Reverend Larry Medcalf. Stacy is a 20-year breast cancer survivor. Ooh, yes. Can't clap for that. Yes. That diagnosis fuels her passion to assist others who are going through health challenges by providing emotional support, resource assistance, and many other services. Stacy is very active in the church, mission work, and serving the community. She attends Tri-State Worship Center, where she serves as outreach coordinator. She is also a member of Kingdom Partner Fellowship International and Kingdom United Fellowship. Her life motto: if I can help somebody as I travel on, then my living shall not be in vain. Her favorite scripture, 2 Timothy 1:7-8. Without further ado, let's show our love to Miss Stacy L. Murray-Medcalf.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to come and share. In 20 years, there's a lot that you can say. A lot of things happen. But before I get into my journey, I too want to thank. I seen you coming. I want to thank Sister TC also. because it is no lie that her hugs are anointed. And not only her breast cancer journey, you just testified of how you were going through a season that had nothing to do with breast cancer. Well, I too went through a season as my husband went through an unexpected injury that changed our life forever. And one day in the hospital, she just showed up at the right time. No words, walked in the door and just wrapped her arms around me, and it was like everything that had built up on that journey just came running and flowing out for release. And I thank you for that, because not only were you chosen to sparkle that pink, but you were chosen to bless others with no words. No words. And I love you for that. And we have been on this journey together in different arenas for 20 years. And God is good. He's good, because as she says she's God's favorite, my sister who is here told me I was chosen. And I thank God for that, because in the choosing, it's not always a bed of roses. Although my cancer came as a result of God's plan for my life, the outcome, we say in the flesh, could have been different, because I found my lump on self-examination. I went to the newly built $1 million breast center for all of this dynamic mammogram, and somebody misread my x-ray. Stop drinking so much coffee. You have caffeine deposits. You can come back in a year. I was 37 years old. But thank God that my lump grew in my cleavage so that it was seen. 6 months later, I was going into stage 4. And when my doctor, who is a God-fearing woman, called for the original x-ray after the second x-ray, you could hear her hollering all through the clinic. It was here all the time. But it wasn't God's time. God needed for it to happen, because just as TC said, there was purpose in that lump. I was blessed to go through my journey not sick. I had my chemo. I didn't have to have hospitalizations. I was able to go through life as if I did not have cancer in my body. Had I not been bald-headed, maybe you would not have known that I had cancer. But God had a purpose for the journey. And as I sit in the chemotherapy room, there were so many people that were weary and sick and laying in beds, and you know, you watch people throwing up, and you watch people having to have CPR performed because it's just a wide open room with chairs and beds. And one lady, 20 years old, had cancer in her chest wall, and she coded right there in front of all of us. And I'm seeing people just weary, and God spoke to me during one of those sessions, and he said, I need for you to see this, and this, and this, and this. Somebody couldn't afford treatment. Somebody couldn't afford the medication. Somebody didn't have family to get them back and forward to their treatments. And he spoke to me and he said, I need for you to see this, because I have something that I need for you to do. And in that journey, it was revealed 5 years later as I walked into an American Cancer Society, not because of my cancer, because I want to put a pin in this, because you all are a part of the planning and the things that go out into the community. Make sure that the doctors and the nurses tell people about the resources.
Right.
I had been through cancer, and it was 5 years after that anybody ever said, did you ever register with the Cancer Society? No. Nobody done the advocate work, nobody done the research work, nobody said, look, there's a place that you can go and get a wig, and you can get a bra, and you can get a prosthetic. There's places out there to help you. So I went bumming just gift bag stuff from my church's Bible conference, and the lady said, hey, you have cancer and you're not registered? We'll register. My cancer, well, I said, I'm done. I'm good. No, you're not registered. So in that registering, it fostered a relationship with the Cancer Society to promote the resource that they had available. A phone number could save a life. A phone number could give that person medication, transportation, all of these things. So in that moment, God said, this is it. This is what I need for you to do. This is what your cancer was all about. So in celebrating my 5th year cancer-free, my husband and my friends were on a journey to go to a gospel concert, and we were just talking, we want to do something to celebrate what everyone says survivor means 5 years. Well, let me put a pin in it. That 1 second when it was revealed that I had cancer in my body, I was a survivor.
Yes.
Don't put a label on people's journey. Our survivorship indicates the moment in which we know that there is something that we have overcome, even if for that second. If God would have taken me home in that next second, I survived for 1 second. So as we planned an event just to celebrate, it ended up being a conversation. Well, my husband had diabetes and heart issues. My girlfriend's husband had sickle cell. Her father was paralyzed. All of these things come to, and then we said, hey, why don't we just have an awareness event and call it the cause? Whatever your cause is, promote it. Well, we are in our 14th year advocating. And I'm thankful for the journey, because in that journey, I was able to look back at all of those moments in that chemo room. We need to get that transportation. We need to get that medication. We need to get that resource, and we need to hit the street. And before you knew it, I was telling the Cancer Society, hey, give me the stuff, I'll do it. We have to stand and make sure that people know that there's help that is available. And in my journey, God allowed me to walk it in order for those resources to be available. And I was grateful, because not too long after that, my nephew was diagnosed with cancer. And in that, it was, somebody said to us, uncurable. He could not undergo any surgeries or anything. But we registered him with the Cancer Society. And because we done that, he was able to get the medication he needed. He was able to get the transportation. He was able to get his disability. His wife was from Bulgaria, and she was away studying to finish up her college. They paid for her to come home when it was time for him to have the surgery they said he couldn't have. His mother was able to go, and they paid for her to get there to be by his side. So we've got to spread the resource. We've got to tell what's out there. We have to make sure that the doctors implement that in the protocol for the plan when they're telling a patient that you have cancer. This is what you need to do. Here's some resources. If it's nothing but a brochure, we need to make sure that it's there and it's available, because one phone number can save a life. So I'm going to share with you a little story that I wrote. And I think I originally wrote it, I don't even know. probably 10, 12 years ago. This is my peace story. It was early one morning in February 2004 when we met. She was just about the size of a dried up pea. She proved that size isn't everything, as her arrival demanded my full attention, as well as everyone around me. All of the plans I had made for the upcoming spring changed in an instant. She was persistent and in turn placed my life in a state of rush. She urged, hurry, you have new people to meet, places to be, and new experiences that will change your life forever. People doubted that I really had met her. They said to me, you're too young. You just drink too much coffee. I, being young, took it for just that. But she would not give up on our relationship. Several months later, I felt her presence even stronger. She had grown tremendously, no longer the little pea I once knew. She was now as grown as an egg. She beckoned all of me and all of my being to let her out. I returned to my original source of knowledge only again to hear, you're too young, but we'll look again. On that day, I learned that age is nothing but a number. She was there and had developed so quickly from nothing to something. She had gotten too big for her britches. And I would have to end our relationship. I had to get rid of her. When I wrote this, that was 5 years ago. Now she is gone. I don't miss her. She was so demanding.
Yes.
She left her mark on my life that will be with me forever. The moments that I had with her are unforgettable. She taught me so much, she showed me so much, but yet there was still so much about her that I never came to know. She did not reveal her whole being to me, but I seen her in others so different, so fierce, so breathtaking, so deadly. With me, she was just there, but so gentle. After radical chemotherapy for 3 months, a right mastectomy, 6 weeks of healing, 6 more weeks of chemotherapy, and a few transfusions along the way, in December of 2004, the doctor declared, you are cancer free. She was now out of my life, gone forever. I had been healed of the breast cancer of 2004. I was blessed and I wasn't too young. Don't let anybody tell you when you know that there is something going on that's not right, something that's not usual. Be persistent. Get it checked out. Don't let the textbook give you a diagnosis that you know deep down within your heart there's something wrong. This is not right. This was not there. Make them check it out. And my technician, when I went back for the second ultrasound, said to me, you know they're not supposed to tell you anything. She said, oh, you know, there's a doctor on the second floor and she's a really, really nice lady. You want to go meet her. So in that moment she was telling me,
Yeah.
you have cancer. In those moments, everything stands still. Make sure that there's somebody with you when you go for these doctor's appointments and these treatments, because you zone out. You need for somebody to be with you that is hearing what they're saying, because I can't tell you half of what was said in those moments. And I had babies at home. My son was away at college, and he battled just like your son, because he couldn't be there. My teenage daughter was with my mom and dad. My baby girl would stay with my brother and sister-in-law. My stepchildren had just unexpectedly lost their mother. So you go through the emotions of the what ifs. And then you be strong for everybody else. Don't forget about you. I didn't realize that I had not accepted my cancer journey for almost 10 years because I was too busy worrying about everybody else. My mom was sick. I went up, and I think that the day that I went up, she revealed to us that she had some things going on that she didn't. My brother came in from Texas. My other brother came in from Louisiana. We prayed because we knew whatever God brought me to, he would bring me through it. And he did. I didn't have to have any follow-up protocol. I didn't have to go and have 5 years of this. I have no residual effects, except now I carry the scars. I walk with the prosthetic, but that's nothing compared to how God spared my life and made that assignment something, as she said, it's not about us. It's about testifying about the goodness of God and what He done for us, and us being available for somebody else. If it's nothing but to listen, to just be there when they cry, to help their families navigate, or to give a big hug. So as you all work this journey, advocating and coming up and implementing plans, think about these things. Think about the things that everybody misses, because we have a ABC plan, a 1, 2, 3, but in between those letters and those numbers is a life that needs more than the textbook. It needs more than the doctor saying it's this cancer and this is what we're gonna do. Explain the process. Make sure they are aware of the process. Make sure that they understand. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna take my seat. I had a young lady to contact me, and she said, I have a lump, I'm going to get it checked out. I know you've been through this, I want you to pray with me. So she called me back when she got her results, and she said, my doctor seen the results before my oncologist seen the results, and they said that everything was negative. She had a lumpectomy, they were able to get it, the margins were clear, the lymph nodes were clear, everything was negative, and she said, I have triple negative, so I'm good to go. But I didn't feel right, something just wasn't right. So she went to the oncologist, and he explained to her everything was clear, everything was negative, you have triple negative, you have to start chemo, then we have to do chemo with Keytruda, then we have to do chemo, radiation following the chemo. And she said, wait a minute. He was like, what? She said, I don't understand. If everything is negative, why do I have to go and have all of this treatment? If you want a second opinion, I'll give you a doctor. He missed the opportunity in that moment to explain to her that you never want to hear the word triple negative. Right. So everything was negative and everything was clear, but he didn't explain to her that triple negative was one of the worst breast cancers that you could have. So encourage those that you work with to explain the process and not just think about it as their profession, but think about how you are telling somebody that their life is about to change. We have to educate. And I implore you, educate from the standpoint of emotion. It'll help the healing process be so much easier. Thank you for the opportunity to come and share. Our organization is open for any sickness or disease. We advocate for everything and everybody, all the way from insurance to the funeral home. Because unfortunately, in this walk, that too is necessary. So if we could ever be of any service to you, please reach out. If we need to do the footwork for you because you're understaffed, please reach out. Let's do this thing together. Thank you.
The name of our workshop today is "And Stories Really Exemplified" the theme of today's workshop. We know that there are more and more people living as survivors, from that moment of diagnosis. There are more and more people living cancer-free. There are more and more thrivers, the word that a lot of metastatic breast cancer survivors have adopted, thrivers, that I will live with this disease until the day that I die, no matter how long that is, and I can thrive and do that. And I think that's the one thing we as programs need. We need to advocate. We need people to listen to their bodies, to advocate for themselves. We need to advocate for our communities, and our messages need to be one of hope. Because as LaDonna said, there can be this anxiety, this fear of getting screened that stops people from going. But if we hear stories of hope, if we hear stories of people who have been through the journey and are still here 20 years later, people who hear those words, okay, now you're cancer-free, and then we hear stories of people who are surviving with breast cancer, thriving as a stage 4 metastatic breast cancer survivor. Those messages might help us get more people into those screenings and get diagnosed sooner, and start the process as soon as we possibly can. So thank you so much for sharing your stories today. I think I can say for all of us that it really was inspiring messages to hear. And so I think our lunch is out there. I think I heard dishes. So we'll take an hour for lunch. There's a buffet out here, so go ahead and get your food and come back. And
Anyone has any questions for the guest speakers, can they?
does anybody have any questions for our guest speakers?